Someone in here is going to die in half an hour. And it might just be your fault. But don't worry, you'll be glad. You'll be glad it's happened, you will. And you might just never forget it. I mean, that's the point. That's why it happens. It's why you're all here. To end a life. Or save it. What would you do if you had half an hour to live? Don't answer that. It's not that kind of show. But have a think about it. I mean, half an hour is not enough time to do all the stuff on your bucket list, is it? But maybe just enough time to give your mum or your dad or your friends a bell and tell them how much you love them. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not enough time to fully tell them how much they mean to you. Not when you could be doing a really cool post on Instagram. OMG, end of the world, guys. What am I like? FML, all caps. You'd be too polite to leave this performance, wouldn't you? Sat there tapping your Clark's loafers, desperate to sprint out that door. Too British to make a scene. I know what I'd do, but then I've had time to think about it. I'd make you remember me. That's what I'd do. Start the clock.
Eastfield is a shithole. That's what people who've never been here before think, innit? And to be fair, that's what most people who've lived here their entire lives think and all. It's the only thing we've got in common. Difference is, we're allowed to think it. I come from about 5 minutes up the road. And apart from a school trip to London where we got kicked out of all the museums for dicking about and the odd bus ride into town to buy new clothes, I've spent 100% of my 18 years in Eastfield. I'm Eastfield born and I'm Eastfield bred. So on the subject of, is it shit here? I'm an expert. I'm well researched. Stickers on the chase and I'll nail it. That'll be C, Bradley, PC, Dickon and Plastic Sue. 100%. You're 4 or 5 and you wander in the streets because your mum and your new dad need time for a chat. So you've got to get out of the way. But every corner you turn, you're stepping in yesterday's broken glass. Stella, 8% cider, puke, dog shit, fag ends, every street, everyone, every day. Your outlook on normal gets a bit messy, doesn't it? Because being a kid in Eastfield, every day you'd smell weed or find a little empty bag of coke on the floor or a needle by the flats or see a divvy in the top shops with no teeth. And that's not normal. Everywhere else in these gentrified middle-class homesteads, that is not normal. It's not what a 6, 7, 8-year-old should be seeing. But I saw it every day. There's good stuff too. There's got to be, haven't there, or you'd go mad. And I know it don't sound like much, but when I think of happy, I think of here. Playing on the field across from my house. Me and my mate Kyle, we'd spend thousands of hours playing. T-shirts for goalposts, or getting covered in dirt because we were making a potion in a puddle by the side of the road. There was this big-ass weeping willow on the way to the Eastfield pub. And if you snapped off a branch, you could strip the bark off, get a sticky rubber wood, put it on the end, then peg it, and the wood would fling off and go for miles. Kyle licked the bark once. He said it tasted like melon. But I won't have none of that, because when has Kyle ever tried melon? It helps to remember stuff like that. It helps put all the knife crime stats into perspective, doesn't it? I mean, think of all these wannabe 2-bit gangsters. They were all kids once, licking trees for fun of it. Baby big men making potions in puddles. Top-tier drug dealers nicking sweets and then crying when they got caught. I'm about 9, and I've gone into the Go Local with empty pockets, walking around looking for something to fill them. And as soon as the cashier weren't looking, I've grabbed a brain liquor and I'm out the door. Buzzing with my little self, I've opened it and started to lick it, because that's what you do with a brain liquor. Then I heard it. The most terrifying howl ever. Thomas Dixon, get your bloody ass home now! Full name, not good. I think my mum's fuming because I've gone off the street, but 10 minutes later, my cousin's at the door with a brain liquor in her hand that I nicked. And then wanted to dropkick someone so badly in my entire life. Grass? But what can your parents say? They're screaming at you all red-faced about why stealing's wrong. But you know they did the same thing at your age. Worse. And your kids will do it when you've had them. But right now it's your turn. They've had their turn, and now it's yours. They're screaming at you full blast, and you're playing along with tears in your eyes. But you both know this act is all pretend. What if you just stopped and admitted the truth? Well done, son. Try not to get caught next time, though. Try buy one thing and then pocket in the rest. It makes it look less suspicious. Thanks, Dad. Proud of you, son. Then what? If you're off one of the nicer estates, I imagine your rites of passage are about reading the Harry Potters or going to Disneyland or getting bought your first car. VW Polo with dual climate control and no black box. Mine were about getting a chase off a crackhead. Or being given my first car by an uncle who I barely remember from when I was a kid. Apart from that one time when he got kicked out of the family do for being off his face. My rites of passage aren't exactly as useful on your CV as volunteering in Africa on your gap year, but they aren't any less interesting. There was this abandoned farm. I don't know how we came across it, it just became a thing one day. We'd all tear about up there, playing games and smashing windows and shit. And one day, we climbed up into the top of the stables and there was loads of these old cushions and pillows and these big sacks that were like bags for life on steroids. We threw them all down and made a massive pile at the bottom. And then we climbed up onto the roof and jumped off, or fell off, or did a front flip off. That was the most fun I'd ever had. I remember thinking at the time, I was 10. Nobody thought if we miscalculated that jump, we'd die. Because it was a buzz. We were all little adrenaline junkies. Problem is, a buzz has to end. And when you do it again, it's not as good as the first one, so you look for something else, something even more life-threatening to get the same buzz like the one you had before. And you get used to it. You want more because the buzz either doesn't last as long or doesn't have the same effect. And so you keep upgrading to something even more stupid or deadly. It's like a drug. And for some people, you've just got to keep going and going till you find a new thrill. Or you've overdosed, or you've died, or you've just nicked a car, been charged with Grand Theft Auto, 6 months inside, a 12-month driving ban and a £5,000 fine. Either way, you get a nice little write-up in Scarborough News warning all the other little scroats, don't be like this twat. The problem is, they're all sat there going, nah, not me, mate, I won't get caught. And I'm not saying this little journey is exclusive to Eastfield kids. There's plenty of places that watch the kids turn into corpses or criminals, but I do reckon here it starts earlier than most. Gets its claws into you. As soon as you can walk, that monster climbs out from under your bed and into your head. Do it. Fuck it up. Nobody cares. Tells you every time you dare to think about who you want to be. Get your scumbag little head down. We are hated. It's in the papers. We are feral, knife-carrying, drug-abusing little rats. And these streets are a battleground between us and them, between the good people and the bad. And you don't get to be a kid for too long when that's what you've got to aspire to. I could give a fiver to any kid round here just to shout bell end at the first adult that they see, and they'd do it. Like, no questions asked, anything for a story. Or is it just easier to think, fuck it, when you've been looked at like scum your entire life? Oh, watch it. There's an Easter kid there. Get your phone in your bag and don't make eye contact. How many of you actually live in Eastfield? Thought not. Fair? I mean, who'd want to live in the rough end when you can afford to live in Caton or Scorby or Stepney? You stay well clear or you get out as soon as you can afford it. And that just leaves us, doesn't it? Us poor and washed, dragging ourselves along from cradle to rave.
What would you do if you only had 20 minutes to live? Don't answer that, it's not that kind of show, but have a think about it. Thing is, this time it's not just you, it's everyone. In 20 minutes, the world's going to get blown up. Like a disaster movie. Except this time, there's no Chris Evans running past you with a shield telling you to take cover. No Iron Man shooting rockets out of his hands. No Hulk. Imagine, you sat at home watching Love Island and Barack Obama comes on the telly about halfway through. It couldn't have been Rishi Sunak because you just wouldn't believe him. But Obama goes, that's all, folks. There's a lot of alien spaceships shooting at us and Will Smith's been cancelled, so we're screwed. Put your head in between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye because it's the last chance you're going to get before Mars attacks. Every motherfucking one of you is going to die. Sorry, I went into a bit of Samuel L. Jackson then. I'm not racist. 20 minutes, phone's not working, Snapchat won't load. There's people crying in the middle of the road and your local smackhead's kicking in a shop window because that's what smackheads do in a crisis. Chaos. Everyone you love is out of reach. Nothing you give a shit about is anywhere near. And you stand there and you think, is this it? Every thought of you dying peacefully surrounded by all your grandkids is quickly replaced with you shaking like a shitting dog because you just watched sexy Tina get melted by an alien death ray right in front of your eyes. That happy ending you've been wishing for looks more like you sat on the floor in Provost necking mouthwash because someone told you it gets you drunk. All in the desperate need to somehow stop being scared. Or something like that, I don't know. What would you do? I know what I'd do. But then, I've had time to think about it. I'd make you love me.
And I do mean make. There's a necessary amount of force required. And it's not easy, believe me, because there's a problem around here with the youth. We are unlovable. We're dickheads. And dickheads are, by definition, impossible to love. You can like a dickhead, or find them funny, or stupid, or annoying, but you'll struggle to love them. They'll let you down at best, and worse, they'll screw you over. Dickheads are only looking out for themselves. Dickheads don't care. Dickheads put bricks through shop windows and write "Dickhead was here" on a new white wall. Dickheads are dickheads. They scare your family, stress out shopkeepers, and keep all the old grannies hidden behind the net curtains.
Mr. and Mrs. Old, you haven't left the house in over 500 years because of what you describe as the hateful gang of dickheads ruining the neighbourhood.
What have the young people of Eastfield been engaged in to make you feel that way? Shocking.
And could you describe what they look and sound like?
Shocking. That is awful. I don't know how you do it.
And finally, what is it they do that you hate the most?
Antisocial, knife-carrying, drug-abusing, thieving scumbags. Hanging's too good for them, bring back national service.
Shocking words there from two people who are so old they must be right.
Two people who are so old they've forgotten they were young once too. The new generation of teenagers has arrived to piss people off. And the new generation of old people have arrived to be pissed off. It just repeats. I asked my great nan what she got up to when she were a teenager. And she said she'd come into Scarborough on a Sunday afternoon to watch the boys fight. And if you were lucky, they'd have a knife. It's all the same, innit? It's our turn to be the most bored in the history of the world. And their turn to go, it weren't like that in my day. Remember a few years back when they found all those old Roman remains in Middle Deepdale and they had to stop building all the houses and started calling it the most significant archaeological discovery this century? All that proves is that there's been people clinging on to this part of the world for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And I swear down to you, there's been teenagers losing their shit with boredom from the start. People have been turning up in Eastfield for thousands of years, never leaving, never changing. Generation after generation trying to build a community and losing the same battle. Nothing changes. Born. Mess about for a bit. Realise you've wasted your life. Die. Repeat.
It's a war on several fronts. These streets are a battleground between the teens and the towns they've been imprisoned in, between the people who have something and the people who don't. We say we want to take care of our own, but that doesn't apply to the homeless guy who's camped 30 feet up the road because he's a drug addict. So would you be. Because he's a criminal. So would you be. 10 years ago, he was me. Being let down and being let down. Brain draining out of his ears to the painful teachers explaining how the world doesn't even work. Staring out the window, wishing I was at the other side of it. I'll claw at my stomach and try and draw blood and drag my guts out. Hand over fist, bits of intestine just for Miss to have a look at. I'll pile high my entire insides on this shitty compass scored desk. Build a snowman out of spleen, a lampshade out of lungs, because I've got something to prove and nothing to prove it with. And I'll have a better time doing that than being lectured about something that I don't have the mental toolkit to make sense of. Boredom is the most dangerous weapon. Boredom kills people, kills ambition, kills community, kills hope, kills. But I don't think anyone seems to have worked that one out, have they?
All you have to do is get rid of all the youth centres and the playgrounds and the safe spaces to see it. Kids roaming the streets trying to make their own fun. Braben House Care Home, Year 10. At the side of Pinder, there was this old abandoned care home. And one day, me and my mates broke into it so we could explore it, because that was our thing back then, exploring abandoned places. And better yet, it was somewhere we could go to just smash shit up. It became a daily thing going to the care home. It was spooky and it just reeked of medicine. Like, there was blood samples and scalpels and it just stank of old age. Anyway, then we heard it. The nee-naw. Coppers swarmed the place, blocking every entrance and starting to come into the building. The leading lad at the time, he was an older lad. He made a plan for us all to get out and not get caught. He told me and AJ to go one way and all the others to go another. So we were like, what about you, Lee? And he replies, I'll be fine. And then, no word of a lie. Like something out of Avengers. After fully making a plan in seconds, he crosses his arms in front of his face to make an X, sprints and jumps out of this single-pane second-storey window to draw the police's attention. And that was the best thing I'd ever seen. Can you imagine? Well, maybe you can't.
What would you do if you had 10 minutes to live? Don't answer that, it's not that kind of show, but have a think about it. 10 minutes before you are the last person standing. With all of the human race gone, there's no one to run to. You'll never hold another hand or kiss some lips. You'll never look into another person's eyes. Would you snatch every last moment before planes started falling out of the sky? Before you were the last statement on humanity? Begging passers-by for a quick shag? Or would the realisation that you've got less than an hour before the power cuts out blow your tiny mind? Because that's less than an hour to Google where all the nuclear power plants are, so you can find the best place to be when all the fail-safes end in under a month and there's a full-on nuclear holocaust. I saw a thing on YouTube. There'll be no more of that though. No more Netflix, no Tinder, no porn. How dark it'd be at night. How scared you'd be. Would you want to do the right thing? Steal a car, even though technically everything's yours now, so it's not really stealing. Drive it to the nearest zoo, set all the animals free. I bet by the time you got around all the cages, you'd come back to a lion chewing its way through a tasty meerkat. You'd feel like such a twat. But not as pit of the stomach gutted as you'd feel after spending years being tracked by a troop of coked up killer baboons that you set free personally just to hunt you down. Would you run through the streets shouting about the end of the world? Or sit and wonder why you're so special? Why you've been left out of a mass extinction, panicking that it's just an admin error? Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Say what you've always wanted to say. Throw your tea at the wall. Jump the counter and snog that fit barista in Costa. Gun down the shitty KFC you used to work at. Whatever. Because when you're running out of time to get people's attention, you're just going to have to demand it. I know what I'd do. But then I've had time to think about it. I'd make you hate me.
So what's your solution? Think of it as an escape room. You know what an escape room is? Organised fun, fake excitement for the risk-averse, danger porn for Sudoku wankers. Eastfield is an escape room. You solve all the riddles, find all the hidden keys or whatever, and you might just get out. There was a lot of that talk growing up. Kids saying they were going to get out of here, and adults saying if you just work hard enough, you can go to a city and get proper work, or go to uni or whatever. What do you think that does? We've got a town here that might as well be purpose-built to keep families, generation after generation, poor, looked down on, and worse, stuck. They waste half their lives dreaming about leaving, or they waste their entire lives staying, hooked up on universal credit. What do you think it does to a kid to know their whole bloody life that most other kids in the country have got it easier? Some way easier, some so much easier they basically live on a different planet. What do you think it does to them? To me, to him, to her, to you? Knowing that anybody who has the power to fix it doesn't give two shits about us. Might as well paint on every wall of every building around here, give up. And that's what you do. You have your fun where you can. And I'm not saying this like an excuse. I know loads of people who've managed to stay away from all the shit round here. But you can see why most of us get into drugs and fighting and all that shit that everyone's so worked up about. When you can't see a future, you live in the moment. And when there's absolutely nothing to do in that moment, you make your own fun. You break the rules, you get violent and you stay violent. Eastfield Fair, year 8 or 9. All of us go down the Eastfield Fair. That comes every year, which is great, something different. All of us like get down there, but this particular year, it all kicks off between Eastfield and Battleground. Everyone's shitting themselves because of the rumours that there's going to be this massive gang fight with talks of knives and weapons, and it was all true, all those rumours. I remember seeing a load of Battleground lads in the stony trackies, just knowing shit was about to go sideways. This fight kicks off. Bearing in mind it's between lads aged 13 to 18. But it weren't like this massive gang fight. It sort of broke off and everyone went after their own targets. I remember running after this kid with my mate, sprinting through alleyways till we caught him, kicked the shit out of him, and then my mate pulls out this hammer-looking thing and clocks him clean round the head with it, and I ran like fuck. Thinking I ain't getting involved with weapons and shit. Next thing I knew, I'm getting a call telling me that that kid's been carted off in an ambulance. Everyone went to school the next day. Like nothing had even happened. Never did find out what happened to that kid. Nah, he probably deserved it, didn't he? Just another little scumbag who didn't know shit from clay. Just another stupid little scraw loitering about messing the place up. I should have finished the job, eh? One less criminal, one less number on the knife possession statistics. It's all he deserved, didn't it?
What would you do if you had 5 minutes to live? Smash everything, burn your baby photos, trash the lot. What about 4 minutes? Quick game of FIFA. 3 minutes? You could boil an egg. What about 2 minutes to live? Go have a lie down in the dog's basket. What would you do if you had 1 minute to live? Sit and think about all the stuff you'd do differently if you could start again. Or have a wank. I know what I'd do. But then I've had time to think about it. That's it. Time's up. Play's over. No more chances for Tom to learn his lesson and never miss a day of college, get into a good uni, get himself a nice little job, nice little family, nice little Audi A3 with plenty of room in the back for his fuel subscription in his golf clubs. No chance for him to work out that he's got more of a chance of going to prison than university, so he might as well just accept his fate and start slinging a little bit of green like the rest of his brothers. No chance for karma to kick in and for Tom to get a job as a double glazing installer, destined to spend the rest of his life fixing all the windows in Eastfield that he smashed in as a kid. No chance for Tom and his mate to go nick a Ford Focus off a gay waiter in Malton and boy race it into a tree on the A64, where his mate gets off with a broken wrist, but Tom dies 3 days later on a ventilator in Scarborough General. No chance to have 5 kids to 5 different women. There's no ending for Tom. He's dead, he's gone. He can't be fixed, he can't be saved. You had your chance. You have 30 minutes to stop him. 30 minutes to do something to make him realise about who he could have been if he dared to take a chance. 30 minutes to make him believe in himself. 30 minutes to look him in the eyes and tell him that he's resilient, intelligent, funny, loyal, passionate, strong, that he's everything he wanted to be and everything you think he's not. There's no ending for Tom. Tom only exists for today. He don't have a tomorrow. But you do. There's loads of Toms in this angry little town. I can see some of them right now. Desperate for this half-hour detention to be over. When did you realise this play was about you? Was it when I walked in? Or was it when I said, there's more to Tom than Eastfield. There's more to Eastfield than Tom. And tons of stuff has happened for the better since he was a kid. But the damage was done for him. He stopped trying. He was stalked by the person he was meant to be. He stopped swimming against the tide. He drowned. This isn't his story though, is it? It's yours. And the best thing about your story is, it's only just begun.